It is the Ghetto Cinderella herself, Sammy-Jo Luxton, who is getting back to work at PFL Europe 1 on Saturday, May the 10th, after a difficult year away from competition. We'll just say that to start off. But before we get into all of it, just tell me how you're feeling overall, just finally getting back to work and getting ready to fight again.
I actually cannot explain how excited I am to get back in. Usually I do get a bit nervous, but I think having all this time off, I'm just raring to go and ready to show everybody what they've been missing.
I love it. Well, listen, we hear with fighters having layoffs for various reasons all the times, right? But yours was a bit more severe. I mean, you're on top of the world, and then it starts with the loss of your father, who was a huge inspiration to you. Then you get hospitalized with sepsis. I mean, a truly life-threatening illness. I mean, it's as tough as it gets. So talk to me about just this time and how challenging it must have been to not only deal with physical challenges, but mental challenges as well, all kind of at the same time.
Yeah, so at the start of the year, things started happening. I crashed my car to start with, and that was my fault. But I thought that was going to be the worst part of my year. And then my kit bag got stolen out of my car. And then a few weeks later, just before my FCC fight, my grandma ended up passing away suddenly. And then 6 weeks later, I got a phone call to go back home to go for my dad. He ended up having a heart attack and he was in an induced coma. So I went down to be bedside by my dad. And whilst I was in the hospital, I ended up falling ill. I then needed an emergency surgery. So I was in the ward directly below my dad. So my poor family were just going up and down, just trying to see my dad and me at the same time. But luckily the hospital that I was in, they were really accommodating. They knew the situation. So they put me in a wheelchair and then wheeled me up to my dad. My dad ended up passing away, and I just got back into training just to get my mind off things. But little did we know that there was an infection happening in my stomach. So it started attacking my ovaries and then my kidney, which then progressed to sepsis. And then I started seizing or tremoring on the mat because I was probably about 2 weeks out from my PFL European tournament fight. So we ended up going to the hospital, and then my temperature reached 42 degrees. So I'm not sure what's that in Fahrenheit, but that's life or death, basically. You're looking the devil in the face. And I was able to come through that. And I sort of told myself from that point, that was the universe saying that I shouldn't do this without my dad. I thought that was a sign, because my dad's been there since my first ever fight 15 years ago. So I thought that was the journey that had finished, and that was me done. And then over time, I was just training as and when I wanted to, which was quite refreshing in a way, and just building my mental state up, a lot of time with friends and family. And then I actually locked in a lot on the grappling, just learning new things and just looking into the smaller details. And just because I had the time, there was no rush, no nothing. And then I just started coming back more and more. And then at the start of this year, I said, I might fight this year. And everybody was like, well, if you want to, we'll back you. And then literally the week after, I got a phone call from PFL saying, do you want to fight? And I was like, yeah. So I feel like I just needed that time mentally and physically to regroup, rebuild. And now I'm ready to hit this year running.
Before that PFL made that call, I mean, where did you stand? I mean, did you think because it's totally understandable what you said of why I don't want to do this anymore, especially when you consider, you had that 18-second win, you're signed by the PFL, you're at the top of the world, and then it's all snatched away from you. I understand, you saying I guess the universe is telling me my dream is not my dream, right? So before that call, I mean, how close were you to competing, or did you really feel no, I'm just never going to do this again?
I really felt like I was done with by the point that I had sepsis, because I said to my friends and my family, I said, I'm going to do this European tournament, win the 100K, win the belt, for his legacy, because he was so excited. They bought flights and hotels ready to be at my fight. So he wanted me to do that. So I was going to do that for him and then sort of assess the situation, whether I wanted to go on without him. But when the sepsis hit, I really did think like that's enough. Like I don't want to put myself in any sort of position where mentally and physically I feel run down like that again. But just over time, there's a bug you can't get rid of, and my friends and my family, they're big supporters of me, and they'll back me 100%. And that's the same with PFL. They said, look, we understand what you're going through. Like, whenever you want to fight, if you want to fight again, like, we'll back you. And they even said, like, if I do go into retirement, they'll probably see, like, if I could do little jobs with them, like an analyst or a commentator or things like that. So from me, like, I couldn't ask for anything more from them, from a fighter, because I'm not a number to them. I actually am a person.
That's very cool. That has to make everything just feel more comfortable to know that the organization is behind you, whether you can even compete or not. That's just got to give you a certain confidence just overall.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's why I didn't feel rushed or pressured to get back in, because obviously this is my full-time job now. And then the sort of worries that money, like paying my bills, were in the back of my head. But when they said, like, look, like, if you need some time to just recoup, like, we'll sort you out little jobs here and there. So, yeah, it just put me at ease 100%.
That's awesome. Well, listen, it's an incredible story that you've gone through, but now you got to get in there and fight, right? So it's time to get back in there. It's PFL Europe 1. It's in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Gemma Auld is the opponent. No layup here, right? I mean, this is an undefeated amateur, multiple amateur titles. She won her PFL debut in September. I mean, they're not just giving you somebody to fight. They're putting you up against a real opponent. So give me your thoughts on the matchup itself and kind of what Gemma presents to you.
Yeah, I know she's Scottish, so she's hard as nails. Like, and I love a scrap. Like, there's some people and they're fighting, they're like, oh, I don't want to get to that point where my face is like bloody and bruised. But I feel like I thrive off that. As soon as someone like hits me hard enough, like I start smiling. It's proper like psychopath mode. So I know she's going to bring me a fight, and that's all I've been craving for like the last 2 years.
That's amazing. And talk to me about your approach overall, right? Like, I'm just curious about your mindset, because on the one hand, I know as an athlete, it's important to just say, hey, it's just another fight. We've done this a bunch of times, maybe not in mixed martial arts, but obviously in Muay Thai. You know, it's just another fight. But I would almost think, too, that you kind of want to soak it in, like appreciate being in fight week again, like enjoy the experience and you know, appreciate what you have versus what almost went away. So how are you approaching? Is it like, hey, just business as usual, let's get to it? Or are you trying to kind of enjoy the experience, so to speak, and appreciate the journey you've been on?
Yeah, definitely more like enjoy the experiences and the things that come with it. But I'm very blessed that I've got Malachi Edwards and Lewis McGrillen on the same card. So we're all going out together as a group. And I think that just puts me at ease that they're there with me. And like, we're going through the same emotions. Obviously, mine might be a bit heightened just on the emotional side of things as the comeback, first one without my dad. But I'm ready 100% mentally and physically. So I just want to put on a show.
I love it. Well, we know you will put on a show. You know, on social media, like a lot of times you point out, and I love it, that you say, hey, look, I'm a girly girl, but that's like 1% of my life, right? The rest of it is me busting my ass to be a badass fighter. And it takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of work ethic to be good in any form of combat sports, right? But let's be honest, like both paths have served you well. They've opened doors for you. They've worked for you. So I'm just curious, like, how important is it for you to people to acknowledge you as the fighter you are and not just a social media personality? Like, both have kind of worked great for you, but does it matter to you that people don't look at you as just a social media person, view you as a real fighter, or do you even care how people observe you?
At the beginning, it really affected me. Like the little comments I used to get, like, oh, like she's just posting for Instagram. She doesn't really care about fighting. But at the point of social media, I'd already been fighting for like 10, 11 years of my life. That was my life. But now, like, we've got these phones and cameras and things like that. And it's so quick and easy just to add to social media. And I feel like the pathway that I've gone down, if I didn't dress like this or if I didn't act like this, then I probably wouldn't have been approached by the PFL development, because they knew that I was different. And obviously, like, at this stage, I'm marketable because I'm showing that I can be a girly girl and I can knock people out.
I love it. I like that you can respect both sides of the game, right? Because this is interesting, right? I mean, the sport of combat sports is about wins and losses. It's about going out there and performing, but there is the marketability side of it too, of just getting people to want to tune in.
Yeah, most definitely. And you see, like Dakota, she's paving the way. We've grown up together, and I feel like we resonate with each other of that girly girl side, but the killer mentality. So I feel like hopefully that will entice more girls into the sport as well, because they'll soon realize that it's not just like angry girls that go into this sport. Like, you can be feminine and still smash it.
That's all. And I'll tell you what, I think that's one of the things that's great about combat sports, mixed martial arts in particular, probably more so than others, is that the women and the men are on the same card, get promoted equally, have the same unique opportunities. And that's not necessarily the case in all sports. That's kind of a unique thing about mixed martial arts.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I've been watching MMA since Ronda Rousey's come into it, and the way that it's jumped leaps and bounds, like the females actually get treated alongside the men. And that's what I love about it, because I used to play all sorts of sports. I used to do athletics and things like that. And now looking at them like respective sports, I know that I probably wouldn't have been able to make a career out of them. But now I do what I love and I get paid for it.
I love it. Well, listen, there was a ton of hype around you. Obviously, you had a difficult year, challenging, but hopefully you can pick right back up where that left off. Talk to me about how you see the rest this year, or do you? Like, because I would kind of completely understand if you haven't thought anything past May 10th because it was just so difficult to get here. But have you mapped out what the rest of this year looks like with a big win, or is it really just about, just getting back in the cage on May 10th?
So I have sort of planned out the rest of the year, because I said, like, if I'm going hard this year, like it is for the rest of the year. So the plan is to actually drop my weight. As a Thai boxer, I was fighting between 54 and 55 kilos. Obviously, when I got approached by PFL, there was only a flyweight division, so I ended up bumping up my weight. And I feel like, looking at the girls now, I am just physically not big enough. So I do want to be at the top. So we're going to lower my weight for my next fight to 55 kilo, and then the one after that, 53. And then hopefully, as of next year, there'll be a strawweight global, and then I'll be able to get in the mix for that.
Love to see it. There's certainly a lot of talent around the world in that division. So we'll look forward to it all happening. It starts, of course, on May 10th in Belfast. It's been a long time coming for you. You've set a high standard early in your career. So talk to me about what we see here. Is this another first round finish? You pick up right where you left off, or is this, a lengthy battle to test yourself? What do you think we see here?
I'm relentless as soon as the bell goes. So whatever she throws at me, it's going to hurt me coming back at her. And it's just how long she can withstand that.
I love it. Well, listen, Sammy-Jo, I appreciate the time. It's a victory already for you just to be back in here, but we're looking forward to seeing you compete on May 10th. Thank you for the time, and we look forward to a great fight.
Thank you so much.